Have you ever seen someone who makes you laugh so much that you forget that the person might be hurting inside? That is exactly what happened with Vivian Vance, the actress who played Ethel Mertz on the show I Love Lucy. On screen she seemed joyful, sharp, and full of life, but once the camera stopped rolling, her real story was far more painful, lonely, and heartbreaking than most people ever knew. In this story you will hear about the hidden struggles she faced long after the show ended, the battles she kept private, and the final chapter of her life that still brings sadness to fans around the world. Stay with this story until the end, because Vivian's journey is one you will not forget. Vivian Vance became a familiar name because of her role as Ethel Mertz. Her comic timing, quick reactions, and perfect pairing with Lucille Ball made her unforgettable, and people believed she had the dream job and the dream life. But behind all the laughs, Vivian carried emotional wounds from her early years. She grew up in a strict home where she often felt misunderstood. Her mother did not approve of her dream of becoming an actress, and Vivian spent a large part of her youth fighting to be heard. Even when she became famous, she still felt the echoes of that early pain. The role that made her famous also trapped her in ways she never expected. The character of Ethel was written to be older and less attractive than Lucy, so many viewers believed that was how Vivian actually looked, even though she was younger and far more glamorous in her real life. Vivian struggled with this image because she felt that playing Ethel limited how people saw her. Casting directors only offered her sidekick roles, and people rarely saw her as the truly talented actress she was. Adding to her frustration, her co-star William Frawley, who played Fred Mertz, was many years older, and fans thought they looked perfect together, which only made her feel worse about how the show shaped her image. Away from the camera, Vivian faced battles with her mental health. She dealt with deep sadness, fear, and self-doubt. The pressure of working on such a successful show made everything harder. To hide her struggles, she used humor. She joked with the cast, made her friends laugh, and always acted cheerful. But when she went home, the smile often disappeared. Vivian later admitted that she felt lonely and worried that people loved Ethel, and not the real person behind the character. One of the bright parts of her life was her close friendship with Lucille Ball. They supported each other through many difficult years. Lucille understood Vivian's fears and reminded her how important she was to the show. Even after I Love Lucy ended, the two stayed close. They worked together many times, and their bond remained strong for decades. But even with this friendship, Vivian could not completely escape the heavy emotions that followed her career. As the years passed, Vivian's health began to weaken. She suffered from anxiety, physical pain, and other problems that made it difficult for her to keep working. She still tried to continue her career. She appeared in stage plays, accepted guest roles, and made public appearances whenever she was able. But the world was changing quickly and younger stars were taking the spotlight. Vivian felt as if she was slowly fading from public memory. This added to her sadness because she had always hoped people would see her talents beyond the character of Ethel Mertz. Then came the hardest struggle of all, her fight with cancer. Vivian faced it quietly, choosing not to draw attention to herself. She continued seeing friends, kept in touch with Lucille Ball, and tried to stay as hopeful as she could. Lucille visited her many times during these difficult days. Their friendship had never faded, and one of the most heartbreaking stories from this time describes Lucille sitting by Vivian's bed, holding her hands for a long time, both women understanding that they might not have many more moments together. Vivian's condition slowly grew worse, but she remained gentle and thoughtful toward everyone around her. She did not want people to feel sorry for her. She only wanted peace. Vivian Vance passed away in the year 1979. The world remembered her as Ethel Mertz, but only the people who knew her well understood the pain she lived with behind the scenes. Lucille Ball was heartbroken, and she later said that losing Vivian was like losing a part of herself. Fans mourned her loss, but many had no idea of the private battles that she had carried for so long. Vivian's life reminds us that the people who make us laugh the most might be the ones hurting the deepest. She gave her heart to comedy, and the world loved her for it, but the true lesson from her story is that everyone deserves to be seen for who they really are, not just the role they play. Vivian was more than Ethel Mertz. She was strong, gifted, thoughtful, and far more than the character that brought her fame. Thank you for listening to her story, and remember to appreciate the people who bring joy into your life, because they may be fighting battles you know nothing about.